This Saturday, H&S Feed and Country Store in Oskaloosa invites you to stop by from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. as they're hosting a celebration you don't want to miss. Join H&S Feed and Country Store as they mark 20 incredible years of service with their much-anticipated Checkerboard Day. There'll be family fun activities, delicious food, exciting giveaways, and live entertainment. Bring your friends and family, and let's make this a day to remember as we celebrate 20 years at H&S Feed and Country Store in Oskaloosa from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. this Saturday, August 24th. New Life Fellowship in Keswick, Iowa is hosting the Victorious Living Conference Friday, August 23rd through Sunday, August 25th, with guest pastors Luke and Jana Hobbs from Tennessee. You're invited to make plans to join New Life Fellowship in Keswick for this dynamic time of anointed worship, teaching, and ministry. New Life Fellowship is located just south of Keswick on Highway 22. The conference schedule is Friday, August 23rd at 7 p.m., Saturday, August 24th at 6 p.m., and Sunday, August 25th at 6 p.m. We hope to see you for the Victorious Living Conference. Central Empire Wrestling presents Bridge City Slam 6 live Saturday, September 7th at the Bridgeview Center in Ottumwa. Come see Jake the Snake Roberts, Buff Bagwell, former WWE Tag Team Champions Demolition, Real One Enzo Amore, The Powers of Pain, The Boogeyman, Snitsky, Jordan Grace, Cameron Brennan, and the stars of CEW. Tickets start at just $20 and include the Fan Fest from 4 to 7 p.m. Get your tickets through Ticketmaster or at the Bridgeview Center in Ottumwa. It's Bridge City Slam 6, live Saturday, September 7th at the Bridgeview Center in Ottumwa. Sigourney Keota football fans, Steve Shuttler Media is teaming up with Clint Dye of Tag Team Photography to bring you coverage of Sigourney Keota football this fall. You've seen Clint's fantastic photos of Sigourney Keota football over the last few years. And now Clint is bringing those talents to be showcased on Steve Shuttler Media. We're going to have pictures and action shots of each and every game, an in-depth article, and a video highlight of the game as well. You won't miss a thing with Sigourney Keota football coverage right here this year on Steve Shuttler Media.
And now, your hosts of the Card Subject to Change podcast. The For Frequency's Sake Tag Team Champions of the World, the Wizard CZ, and never wrong, Nick Bull.
We're on live now. I was acting like I was getting introduced. Welcome.
Were you trying to do a pose off?
Brother. Hello, one and all, and welcome to another exciting edition of the Card Subject to Change podcast. Of course, it's the podcast by the fan, for the fan. We are powered by Lopez Pizza, built by Durham Remodeling, colored by Ryan and Allison Tattoo, and protected by Jared Zook of Country Financial. I am, of course, never wrong, Nick Bull. With me is my tag team partner, the one, the only, the Wizard CZ.
What is up? What is up? I'm feeling magical tonight, Nick. How are you feeling?
Magical, yeah, maybe. Could be a little bit of both. I'm feeling good. It's exciting time to be a wrestling fan. Of course, we're post SummerSlam. Next week's show will be focused on All In. So we got a chance to get away from covering live events this weekend and went back and covered something that was very pivotal in the early part of the 2010s, CZ, a big part of the wrestling world. Which we'll get to here in a little bit, but we also brought along somebody else to help break down the action for us, CZ.
We did. He is the kingpin of For Frequency's Sake, the podcast network that graciously hosts us. One of the two people who this would not be possible, Card Subject to Change, without. Let's bring him on, Mr. Doug Green. Doug, how are you, sir?
Doing good, guys.
You're looking good too, Doug.
Thank you.
Looking good, man. Welcome back to the show.
Did you want an intro like ours at the beginning of the show, Doug? I can try it again if you want.
No, that was great. I might need one for the WNBA show for something like that. No, that was great.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Hey, we have a friend here tuning in real quick, Joe Monroe of the Joe Monroe Show. Wait, is this the show that just got 600 followers? We did, and we couldn't have done it without you. Thank you so much. We are very appreciative of all our fans. Make sure you hit that like, follow, and subscribe button. Leave a review if you like it. That's great. If you don't like it, hey, that's great too. We want to hear from you. We won't censor anybody here. We're glad to have everybody tuned in here. And Wiz, I'm going to let you explain the homework assignment, since you are the Wiz, that we gave Doug and we gave ourselves for this week's episode to talk about on this part 2 of the Booger Eater's Guide to Wrestling.
And I will in just a second. I wanna bring up something that we posted on Facebook. We're not going to do it right now. You have to stay tuned until the end of the show. But since we hit 600 followers over the weekend here, we are going to have a big announcement about upcoming content for Card Subject to Change. But we're not doing it yet.
I'm so excited. I forgot about that. That's right.
Yeah, you're all hyped up.
I am.
But no, we are going all the way back to 2011 WWE. I'm excited. This was one of my favorite times. In the first, we're covering a promo and 3 main events, 2 on pay-per-views, 1 on Raw. And this is one of those pay-per-views is my all-time one of my all-time favorites. It's not the top of the list, but it's definitely up there. And of course, if you're tuned in and you know about 2011, you know that we are talking about WWE's Summer of Punk, where CM Punk threatened to leave the company with the WWE Championship should he win the match. And that's what we're talking about. We're going to jump right in, and I'm going to ask you, Doug, first thing I had you watch was the infamous Pipe Bomb promo, as it's called, Monday, June 27th on Monday Night Raw. Tell us your thoughts.
Initially, I was kind of like, why is this guy up here just like whining and complaining? But that is, I know, part of the shtick in there. But it was a little bit kind of jarring not being, watching these things kind of without a lot of other context going on too. Kind of made it a little weird. But I was like, okay, so clearly they're setting this up for something. And then judging by what CZ had told me I had to watch, I kind of guessed kind of the way that this was all gonna play out. But it was interesting to see kind of the storyline and kind of how they decided to what twists and turns they wanted to take in there.
Absolutely. And with that Pipe Bomb, always one of my favorites. I've quoted it on here a couple of times because I am the best at what I do in the studio, on social media, even on commentary.
What Doug, as an outsider looking in, was it hard to follow along with what he was complaining or bitching about? Could you see what he was complaining about and kind of see his side to it? Or was it hard to see that?
I think for me, it was hard to see that because I really didn't have like a lot of pre-knowledge of who he was or kind of what his thing. I don't know, if he was out there just beating everybody's ass or if he was, just the guy just running his mouth. Because honestly, sometimes it's 50-50 with those guys. But so yeah, there wasn't a lot of context for that. But obviously, he got his shot. And that was the thing that they wanted. So that's what he got.
A little context here, Doug. Before he joined WWE, he spent some time in Ring of Honor, which was the #1 independent promotion in the United States at the time. And while he was there, took his WWE contract and signed it on their title, kind of almost starting a riot amongst the fans. And this Summer of Punk is the second Summer of Punk ever. The other one was when he was with Ring of Honor, running roughshod over them, threatening to take Ring of Honor's title with them to WWE, the contract that he signed the belt on. So for the deeper dive fans, the fans that followed Ring of Honor, there was a connection to this Summer of Punk as well. But this is widely considered in the WWE as the Summer of Punk, this whole episode and this Pipe Bomb promo right here.
So was he a surprise to come out there, or was he somebody that they had been promoting and you'd been seeing up until this point?
He was someone that had been on the card. He had been on their roster. But what was surprising was the nature of the promo And them, I thought, me as a fan, I knew what he was bitching about and all of his grievances, but for them, the WWE, to let him go out there and do that was a huge moment. Like, that was unheard of. We had never seen what they would call a shoot promo, where you're spitting real facts. You're talking about what's real. And then the fact that the WWE really didn't censor that was a big deal to fans at the time.
At least until the end where they cut him off.
What's that? I'm sorry.
I said at least until the end where they cut him off.
Now I gotta ask here. You watched the match leading into that, correct, Doug?
Yes, yeah. So I watched the John Cena match leading into that.
So, R-Truth, the gentleman that John Cena was facing, was a little bit crazy in that time. He had just come off a loss for the WWE Championship against John Cena at the last big event, the last pay-per-view. And this was kind of a rematch, only it wasn't for the title. R-Truth is known for saying that he got by Little Jimmy. And that's kind of hard to explain. Little Jimmy is this imaginary person that he thinks has a conspiracy going against him. But I got to ask, watching that match, did you feel like you got by Little Jimmy?
No, I don't think so. He says cautiously.
There's a great promo during that whole time where, and this is just a sidebar, where he comes out and Triple H is talking to him, and R-Truth is looking at the people behind him that are not really there. So Triple H does the same thing. He's talking to people who aren't really there, and Truth thinks he's nuts when thinks Triple H is nuts. That's neither here nor there. Having heard the pipe bomb promo and the things that he said, what are your thoughts? Because he had said some pretty inflammatory things, and that was the whole point, towards the owner of the company, towards the owner's daughter, towards her husband, Triple H. What are your thoughts on someone just going out there and waylaying the company that they work for?
Yeah, I mean, if you've got a big enough grievance, then, now typically you're not going to do that in your 9 to 5, but the rules do tend to bend a little bit for WWE. But some of the points that he made, I was like, yeah, if I'm a big draw and I'm not on the programs and I'm not on the cups and I'm not on the, I'm not getting t-shirt sales or whatever, I'd say he's got a legitimate gripe. And
DJ needs us to acknowledge him, Doug, because he says you're just here for the ice cream bars that CM Punk also mentioned doesn't have his face on them.
Yes. Which I didn't know was a thing, but definitely now that it is, I know that it is, that I won't. So
we're gonna get for frequency's sake ice cream bars, and we're gonna exclude the tribal chief DJ from them on purpose.
I like it a lot.
That's a good idea, man. We'd sell a bunch of those, I think.
I think so too.
Is there anything, Doug, from the promo? What's one thing that really stuck with you on the promo when he's out there airing his grievances? Is there one thing that he kind of said, you're like, whoa, he kind of went there?
Not so much. I was kind of expecting somebody to come out and run up on him, or maybe them to cut off the mic a little bit earlier or something. I was really what I was really surprised about was how long they let him go. To be quite honest, it was a good 5 minutes or something. He just kept going, and I'm like, that's why I kept waiting for somebody to come out and just whap him, because he just kept going, and I'm like, you would think at some point they're either going to, Triple H is going to come out and clothesline him, or they're going to cut off his mic long before that, or whatever. And it just didn't happen. Sure. So that was the surprising thing to me, was how long they let it go on.
And those of us who lived it felt the same way in the time, is that we're watching this and like, oh my God, this is going on forever. And they're not shutting him up. What is going on? Because we expected the same thing, 13 years ago?
Yeah, the fact that the length and the content of what he said went on, and then the veiled comments that he had, the veiled, not so veiled comments at Vince, at Triple H, at Stephanie, and how they ran their company was kind of like, wow. Like, I guarantee he's not the only person that's ever wanted to say that, but he's kind of being the person that is saying that. So I wonder how many other people, maybe that weren't fans of Punk that night or that had worked with them, were like fans of CM Punk that night for finally getting to air his grievances that I'm guessing a lot of other people had to besides him. He was just the person that, got a hold of the mic to go out there and say it. So you got to think some other people felt the same way as him, fans and or workers at the same time.
Yeah, somebody obviously had a grievance as well to put the mic in his hands. He just didn't, they just don't turn those things over to you. Well, maybe they do a little bit, but somebody has to give him the mic and turn it on and make it hot, let him go out there and talk. And so somebody else had agreed with him and had a beef that they wanted him to